following last week's Champions League group draw that once again pitted Manchester United against three eminently beatable opponents. A tweeted photograph did the rounds on social media detailing United's group stage matchups since 2006. The photograph reads like a who's who of decent but unexceptional continental fare: Benfica 3 times, Copenhagen, Rangers, Basel, CSKA Moscow 3 times, Bursaspor, Braga. The list was long and ordinary, and perhaps made even more notable for the teams that were nowhere to be seen, teams that you would reasonably expect to pop up at least once over the course of a decade: a Milan or Inter, perhaps a PSG, maybe an Ajax. The tweet was accompanied by the words, "This needs explaining," and it does. It does need explaining, not to fling around any cheap accusations that amount to tinit conspiracies involving warmed balls, and not even because the perceived benefactor of a suspected immoral privilege is Manchester United, a club that a great many people delight in insisting receive preferential treatment from football's authorities. It needs explaining because over a sustained period of time an anomaly has come to light that suggests one of the biggest companies in the world might conceivably be enjoying preferential treatment courtesy of an organization with a recent, sordid history of ingrained corruption. This bias could only be construed as being extremely lucrative for the business in question. If the paragraph above screams like an insinuation, then it is not intended that way at all. Personally, my considered opinion is that United's avoidance over a long period of time of any significantly tough obstacles between themselves and qualification to the knockout stages is down to extraordinary good fortune and nothing more. Really. That is what I believe. Any suggestion of wrongdoing is far-fetched to the point of silliness. Yet if the chess pieces were identically placed for any other multi-billion-pound business you care to mention, say a utilities giant, a hedge fund conglomerate, then questions most certainly would be posed and serious suspicion legitimized. Let's not have club allegiances, or indeed the nature of football that lends itself to hysterical slanderous stubborn blindness and little in between, obscure the undeniable fact that the same rational criteria should apply here. This needs explaining. Firstly, let's preemptively strike down a couple of comebacks expected in the comments box, those being the competition's seeding structure and the fact that Manchester United's Champions League group in 1999 included Bayern Munich and Barcelona, a group of death if ever there was one. I recall that 1999 group draw well. I recall the collective shock that United had for once drawn the short straw, which illustrates that what we're discussing here goes right back to the tournament's rebranding in 1992. And if they were unlucky on that occasion, then boy have UEFA made it up to them, since if that was the one solitary occasion United were thrown into a group of death, then teams in the 21st century have come at them only with plastic cutlery. As for seeding, then of course United being a permanent resident of Pot 1 for so many years is a major reason why they routinely face sides who, on paper at least, are inferior to them. Yet the same logic equally applies to Real Madrid, who since 2000 have faced down Juventus twice, Borussia Dortmund twice, PSG, AC Milan twice, Liverpool, Manchester City, Ajax 3 times, and Lazio. The same logic also extends to Champions League royalty Bayern Munich, who since 2000 have contested for qualification alongside a plethora of Italian giants in Inter Milan, Juventus 3 times, Roma twice, Napoli, and Fiorentina, in addition to Manchester City 3 times, Valencia twice, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, Ajax, and PSG. In 17 years and 16 tournaments goings right back to 199,900, Manchester United's toughest adversaries from a total of 48 opponents have been Roma once, Valencia once, and Benfica 3 times. That's just odd. I mean, that is staggeringly odd. Or staggeringly fortunate. Delving further, I found it fairest and necessary to attribute a points system for each and every one of the 119 teams who have participated in the Champions League at its group stage since 199,900. In simple terms, sides were given a score between 1 to 5 based on how good they are, or were at that moment in time, and though the list is too long to publish here, examples are given below. A mark of 5 was given only to the elite few who consistently have been top seeds. A mark of 1 denotes teams whose reaching of this stage was a one-off dream, relative unknowns who Danny Rose would have to Google. 5-star rating: Manchester United, Juventus, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. 4 stars: Manchester City, Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, Inter Milan. 3 stars: PSV, Benfica, Roma, Ajax, Schalke. 2 stars: Malaga, Sporting, Olympiacos, Lille. 1 star: FC Nordjylland, FC Astana, Aalborg, Hotel Olgalati. Real Madrid's opponents in 18 competitions came to 145 points. Barcelona's in 17 competitions came to 133 points. Bayern Munich's in 17 competitions came to 138 points. Juventus in 12 competitions came to 104 points. Manchester United's in 16 competitions came to 103. Despite playing 4 tournaments, and 12 teams fewer, Juventus' Champions League group pairings since 2000 have been harder overall than United's. Having played only 1 tournament more, Bayern Munich's travails have been a whole third more difficult. If these figures had been accumulated over a 3-year period, then it could easily be put down to a quirk. That they are sustained and consistent throughout a generation equates to long enough odds to warrant questions to be asked. This does indeed need explaining. Share this 31959.